Hey, my pretty babies, what is going on? You are checking out an all-new The RCWR Show with Lee Sanders, covering the latest in wrestling entertainment and beyond since 2011. What is going on? Just literally a couple of minutes removed from an all-new Monday Night Raw. Okay, episode, yeah? I want to know what you guys thought about Raw for this week, so sound off. I got a Twitter poll at the RCWR Show. I want to know, what did you think about Raw? We got early results that's coming in, but we'll get into that in just a couple of minutes. If you don't have Twitter, but you're going to be watching on YouTube right about now, head on over to youtube.com/the RCWR Show. Click on the Communities tab and you can cast a vote that way. And I'll definitely follow up on what you all have to say. Now, as you all had saw, those of you that did watch Raw tonight, for the next 2 weeks, NXT is going to be on Tuesdays. And some of you guys may be saying to yourselves, well, what the hell is going on Wednesdays here on the USA Network to the point we aren't going to be able to see NXT on its regular day and time? Just what exactly is going on here? Well, if y'all can indulge me for a hot second, best thing I love about being a Verizon Fios customer, I can fast forward within seconds to the next day to see what the hell is going on. For us Verizon Fios customers, we can see up to 6, sometimes 7 days of programming, so we can kind of do our thing, know what we got to set up for our DVR for the week and everything. And as we're talking, I'm already on Wednesday at 6 a.m., and I haven't even been pressing the fast forward button on my remote, not even 10 seconds. But I'm almost there. I'm on 6:30 p.m. now. So with regards to Wednesday, it looks like the return of NHL. So for those of you that maybe are not hockey fans or you really weren't sure what was going on with USA, now you know. For the next 2 Wednesdays, looks like NHL is going to be on USA. So now you know what's going on. Not to also mention, we got football that's essentially back, I think this weekend. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I believe we got football that's going to be back this weekend. But now that's a different topic for, another show. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about football on the next show. But now you guys have an idea about what's going on. So, but no, I thought Raw was a okay show. Where do we begin? I mean, let's first start off with the main event match of the night. Triple threat match. Keith Lee taking on Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, triple threat match right there. Winner of this would advance to Night of Champions to face Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Randy Orton coming out of that on top. Now, for those of you, again, that didn't watch Raw, let's make sure we set this up properly. We got to that point with those 3 participants as a result of those guys earlier in the night being in qualifying matches, of which whoever the winners were of those respective matches, then they would advance to that main event match that I just told you about. So we had Seth Rollins taking on Dominic Mysterio. It was supposed to be Ray.
Damn you! Damn you, Seth Rollins! Damn you! Damn you! You take out my eye! What you did to my familia! You hurt my wife, Dominic's mother. You hurt my daughter, Dominic's sister. You hurt me, El Jefe, my pride, my eye, my passion, my soul. Damn you, Seth Rollins. I will get you. Mama Mysterio wants to get her hands on you, and I want to get my hands on you too, but I can't do anything this week, so I'm gonna let my son Dominic fight on my behalf. So, yeah, I mean, I was wondering what the hell exactly was going on with that. We never really did get a definitive answer as far as why Mysterio was not able to compete in this match against Seth Rollins, because that's originally what was supposed to go down. We heard the announcement as early as the Payback pay-per-view, which, by the way, just to revisit that Payback pay-per-view one more time, I got to tell you, because, I know you long-time listeners, you always like to pick my brain on, okay, Lee, it's the night after. Just reminisce one more time about the pay-per-view we got. Honestly, and not to spend several minutes on it, because there's a whole wide range of topics we got to get into. We're going to talk about
our own right here in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., I got to show love. We're going to talk about the passing of legendary coach, Georgetown Hoyas own, John Thompson. I mean, we've just been rocked over here, hearing that news. Just rough weekend, just everything that's going on. But yeah, I mean, we got like loads of stuff we're going to be getting into, but just kind of reminisce for about 2 minutes or less tops on Payback. You know, in a lot of aspects, I honestly felt that the Payback pay-per-view was better than SummerSlam. It's kind of crazy to hear that, right? But yeah, that's honestly where I'm coming from, really. So I'm curious, those of you that saw SummerSlam and you saw Payback, I want to pick your brains as well and kind of get your take if you're kind of feeling that same vibe that I'm feeling. But, you know, 2 cents from a distance, yeah, overall, I kind of felt that Payback was more enjoyable than SummerSlam. Even if it was a case where looking at the card, you just go, okay, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. Yeah, you could say kind of a predictable card, but it just seemed like it flowed better than SummerSlam. To each its own. That's just my wishful thinking. I always tell you guys, keep the polling going, even when we're long off the air. And just to revisit what you all had to say about Payback, I am looking at it one more time here. Let's go with the YouTube community poll, because I love looking at the YouTube community poll there. Again, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab, cast your voting that way. So going back to Payback one more time, staying relatively steady. 33% felt the pay-per-view was a thumbs down. Meanwhile, 67% gave it a thumbs up. And as I said less than 24 hours ago, you had some aspects of the pay-per-view that, okay, this is where it was good, but then in the areas particularly where it was lacking, SummerSlam and kind of vice versa. But for me, at least, Payback seemed to be the more enjoyable pay-per-view compared to SummerSlam. But yeah, so Dominic taking on Ray, or at least Dominic, that would be interesting. Dominic taking on Ray. Maybe that's going to happen at WrestleMania. Who knows? Some wishful thinking right there. But no, Dominic Mysterio taking on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins getting the best of Dominic one more time. There was no controversy in this matchup. There was no interference. None of that whatsoever. Frickin' Seth Rollins defeated soundly Dominic cleanly in the middle of the ring. For those of you that may be wondering what was going on with Murphy was actually banned from ringside. Seth Rollins was slapping the bejeebus out of him and was dead to rights in storyline because he felt that when it counted the most, Murphy showed great weakness. Murphy showed great weakness in being the one to get pinned by Dominic Mysterio, and as a result of that, pretty much he didn't want anything to do with Murphy. He did not want whatever bad aura, karma, whatever was going on with freaking Murphy. He didn't want any part of it, so he sent his ass to the back, and we didn't see Murphy after that. But Dominic, man, continuing to impress me at a day and age right now where for WWE, okay, this is really about trying to establish and build up new stars. They are just continuing to do a really superb job, I personally feel, and how they're booking Dominic Mysterio. Now, what I'm most curious about, after what we had got from SummerSlam, Payback, few of the Raw episodes, where does Dominic Mysterio and family go from here? You know, are we essentially done now with this? Or is Rey Mysterio gonna keep this going? You know, that's what I'm most curious about right now. And I think for many of you fans out there, if you're kind of having that kind of same question yourselves, you know, it's a fair question to ask because, you know, look, unless this is going to end in such a way where we're going to eventually see the Mysterio family reign supreme over Rollins, then okay, so how are we going to get to that point is my first question. I mean, if you ask me personally straight up, am I tired of seeing the Rollins, Murphy, Mysterio feud? I'm actually not tired of it. I actually would not mind it if really this culminated at Survivor Series. I would not mind it if they just kept it going up until then, because the new interesting elements that you have with this, and I feel that I might be on to something here. So just stay with me on this one, because I don't think, if you ask me, just my gut instincts, just from a distance, I feel as though this feud is not over just yet, because not only did we get reintroduced to Mama Mysterio, and you know eventually the payoff of that one, you gotta have Mama Mysterio get fucking physical. You just got to. You gotta have her extract some type of retribution for all the heartache, pain, and suffering that Rollins and Murphy has been putting her and her family through. It don't matter how big her boy Dominic can get. Yeah, I mean, isn't that insane, by the way, how tall Dominic is compared to his father and mother? It's so hilarious because I was watching, I think it was the Payback pay-per-view. Maybe it was either the Payback pay-per-view or maybe it was SummerSlam. And my girl was watching the pay-per-view with me and she goes, "That's really Ray Ray's wife?" I said, "Yeah." "She's tall." I said, "Yeah." And both of them had Dominic. I said, yep, that's their kid. It's like, but Ray is so short. I'm like, yeah, he's a shorty, no doubt about that. I was like, it's safe to say that Dominic picks up the height from his mom's side of the family and all that. It's like, yeah, but the mom's not even that tall. I said, well, who knows? Maybe Rey Mysterio, when he was much younger, maybe he was getting down, smoking at an early age, drinking and all that other shit. So it's like, that stunts your growth. She's like, yeah, that's true. It's like, I'm not really sure. Like, I know, I feel you. But nah, Mama Mysterio look like she can go out there, she can kick some ass. So the fact that Mama Mysterio was reintroduced to us recently, but then you have a new layer that unraveled tonight, which is the fact that we had saw Dominic's sister, slash Rey Mysterio and Mama Mysterio's daughter. I almost completely forgot that there was a daughter in the picture because we as fans, we were just so, Dominic. I totally forgot that there was a daughter. And how she has beautifully blossomed. She looks awesome. She looks like she could, she has a great look. She has a great look about her. And I don't know if she's getting that itch like, her brother and everything. But if she's even remotely interested in pursuing a wrestling career, she's in some really good hands right there. But I just feel 2 cents from a distance that even though we didn't hear anything from the Mysterio daughter, just the fact that, boom, here she is right here, and we did get properly introduced to her and everything, but she didn't say anything tonight. You just kind of have this impression, nah, we're probably not done with this, not by a long shot. This is probably going to continue on, and these two are injected in this for reason. So I think I might be on to something. Let me know what you guys think. The first question I have, because it's a two-parter. So the first part of the question, would y'all be down for the Mysterio Rollins feud to continue and potentially continue? Now let's throw the part 2 in there. Potentially continuing, knowing that Mama Mysterio and daughter Mysterio are gonna play a pretty significant role in the further progression of this story arc. Would y'all be okay with it continuing? Looking at all of those things. Like I said, I think they can push this until Survivor Series, and then that's pretty much it. So what? Survivor Series is normally around November. So that gives us it's pretty much September. We're pretty much already going into September. As we speak, it's going to be September in just less than an hour here on the East Coast. So matter of fact, let's ask Google. Hey, Google, when is Survivor Series 2020? We'll see what she says. Google's not talking. Hey, Google, when is Survivor Series 2020?
Survivor Series 2020 will be on Sunday, November 22nd, 2020.
Okay, thank you. November, hey, Google, repeat that.
Sure. Survivor Series 2020 will be on Sunday, November 22nd.
Sunday, November 22nd, 2020. Survivor Series is Sunday, November 22nd. So, at this point, you kind of got to do something to make things a bit interesting, but also at the same time, you can give maybe Ray a little bit of a break, where he's gone for a couple of weeks, and, maybe have the son kind of pick up the mantle for a little bit, maybe teaming up with a different partner, and then things kind of culminate with him and that new tag partner continuing on the feud with Murphy and Rollins. And then maybe eventually, once you get around to getting to the finish line for that one, then you bring on back Rey Mysterio, and then you can pretty much ride that out going into Survivor Series. You could kind of do that. Now, as far as, okay, well, what direction could you go in? As far as potentially a new partner for Mysterio Jr., Dominic Jr., I should say. Keith Lee is a good option. If you want to go in that direction, Keith Lee would be a damn good option. He kind of needs a little bit something to do and everything. By the way, I got to give WWE mad props on how that main event match was booked between Keith Lee, Seth Rollins, and Randy Orton tonight. For the simple fact, the writers, the bookers, they did a phenomenal job in protecting Keith Lee. I don't know, for those of you that watched Raw tonight, I don't know if you had really peeped that out, but just overall, the whole psychology of the match and the way it was just laid out, and then just when it counted the most, going to the fine detail of, okay, who's going to eat the pinfall here? And who are we going to do our best to protect in the process? And I love the fact that you got fucking Keith Lee. He does that fucking spirit bomb. Is that what he's calling it? He's calling it the spirit bomb? I think that name needs to be tweaked a little bit, because every single time, assuming that is the name that I heard correctly, I'm thinking of the Spirit Squad. So that's got to have a little bit of a different name to it, I personally feel. What you could call it, I mean, we'd be here all night. I'm sure we all could come up with some pretty cool ass, wicked ass names, but that's besides the point. But, we get Keith Lee definitively, dominantly. He does that spirit bomb on Seth Rollins, and you're going, oh shit, what a week. Like, damn, Keith Lee, like, okay. But then Randy Orton comes in there, throws a monkey wrench into everything, gives an RKO to Keith Lee. And just for a split second, I'm going, oh shit, he's getting ready to pin Keith Lee. He's getting ready to pin him. But then he decides, no. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pin Seth Rollins. And that was just brilliant how that was executed, because in essence, our man Keith Lee is still protected right here. So it was smart booking the way that this was executed. So I got to give mad props to the bookers, whoever laid out the match. But I also at the same time got to give props to Seth Rollins and Randy Orton. I mean, it's pretty obvious right here that these are guys that want to do their very best to help enhance, elevate the up and coming talent and try to help build new stars and all that. I love just the team effort that was done. And, one other thing, for those of you that don't follow me on Twitter, there was another interesting little caveat I had thrown into the mix of things when I was talking about Keith Lee, which is this point. What does Keith Lee and his current run on the main roster, what does it remind you of? It's something that I have talked about off and on repeatedly on this show. And I'll give you a little bit of a hint. it reminds me so much of one of my favorite periods in WWE. And not to mention, it does involve a black WWE superstar that's currently on the roster. I've complimented that particular era time and time again when I have mentioned it. I kind of teased it long enough. So seeing the way Keith Lee has been booked so far, it reminds me so much of when we were first introduced to Shelton Benjamin. And remember how Shelton Benjamin, he made his Raw debut and he got the upset victory over Triple H. You guys remember that? And then you're going, okay, beginner's luck. But then he went on 2 more matches against Triple H. You're going, okay, first one, that was a fluke. Triple H is going to get that back next week, whatever. But then the very next week, Shelton Benjamin does it again in storyline. And then a third time, Shelton Benjamin does it again. And you're like, oh, shit, oh, damn, what's going on here? And that's exactly just the whole aura. I just feel that's what's going on right now with Keith Lee. And I just love it. I just love it. If you were to tell me that Keith Lee will come to the main flagship show in his first Raw debut match, get a W over Randy Orton, I'd be like, wait, say what? Say what now? Nah, come on now. You know, and then you're going, wait, that doesn't sound right. But then you go to a freaking pay-per-view and then Keith Lee fucking does it again. You're kind of going, oh shit, what the hell? And then to have the type of performance that he had tonight, you're going, oh shit, this is badass. But yeah, now you see what I'm talking about when you just think about how things were going on there with freaking Shelton Benjamin and all that. It's like you just can't help but be reminded of that. But yeah, Keith Lee, he has been on one hell of a streak so far. One hell of a free. Actually, you know what? Forgive me. Randy Orton had defeated Keith Lee via DQ. But, you know, technically you can kind of, he was still protected right there. He was still protected. So, we can't really say Keith Lee had picked up a W there on Randy Orton. But you guys get the point that I was making with that one. But no, he's off to a damn good start. Looking forward to seeing how he continues. But as far as what could potentially be next for Keith Lee, maybe him getting involved with the Mysterios, Rollins, Murphy. Something to consider right there. Just kind of looking at the playing field and seeing everything that's going on there. That could be potentially what's next for the man. So, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. Now, you guys are probably curious because I already told you about Dominic, Seth Rollins. You guys are probably wondering, okay, well, who did Keith Lee face and who did Randy Orton? Who did those guys face respectfully? To the notes we go. I got to look at my notes right here because I took a decent amount of notes here. Keith Lee, he defeated Dolph Ziggler. To advance to that main event match. Good matchup. Hey, look, I can't say anything negative about Dolph Ziggler. I know at this point Dolph Ziggler kind of has that certain stigma about him as far as when you see him, you go, okay, who is he putting over? Yeah, I get that. But there's no denying that Dolph Ziggler is extremely talented. He is extremely talented. And if you kind of want to have him be somewhat of that measuring stick in order to figure out how far along somebody can advance, at this point, with me being a wrestling fan for as long as I have, I hope Dolph Ziggler doesn't look at this as an insult. And I don't want for fans of Dolph Ziggler to look at this as an insult. But for me, I look at Dolph Ziggler as somewhat the new Brooklyn Brawler. Just cooler, just way better, good looking and everything like that. That's what I mean by, he's kind of to a certain degree that new measuring stick, if you will. If you can't, if Dolph Ziggler cannot make you look good because he's always going to go above and beyond to do his very best to have a pretty damn good entertaining matchup. He's going to do his best to make sure you're able to go over and everything. Then you can't help but go, okay, so who's the problem here? Because Ziggler's fucking steady. He's a steady hand. He is a very good, reliable hand. So, if you come out of that, you lay a rotten egg, you can't help but go, okay, well, whose fault is this exactly? There used to be a time where you would look at a Ziggler match from 5, 6, 7 years ago, and you're like, man, he's doing way too much just to fucking get himself over. It should be about his opponent. It shouldn't be all about him. He's got to kind of dial it back just a little bit. What the hell? Maybe he's kind of eating and smelling too much of his own hype right here. But that's what I mean by that. So hopefully you guys, now that I kind of really expanded upon that thought, you guys can really feel where I'm coming from and everything. But Keith Lee defeating Dolph Ziggler. No Drew McIntyre, folks. For those of you wondering where was Drew McIntyre, still no Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is in storylines selling those injuries he sustained from Orton, and now the biggest storyline that's going on right now is, hey, we got Night of Champions where every single championship is on the line. Can Drew McIntyre actually make it to Night of Champions? Will he be cleared in time to do this match against, now that we know, Randy Orton and everything? Speaking of Drew McIntyre, I got something interesting I want to bring to you all's attention. It actually involves Tyson Fury. I'm not sure if you guys had heard about that, but the other match I want to talk about, and setting up the main event match right before we talk about that one, Randy Orton had took on Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton, he pretty much had, this was easy. And if you're just following the storyline continuity, you just kind of knew in the back of your mind that there was no way Kevin Owens was going to advance. Like, even before this match happened, just as soon as you heard the layout and everything, you're going, yeah, KO is not advancing. Not if Aleister Black has something to say about it. And sure enough, right before a commercial break, we see Randy Orton. He's coming out of somebody's locker room. You're going, who the hell is he just talking to there? Then we see he was actually coming out of the locker room of Aleister Black. So you're going, okay, it's pretty obvious what's going on right here. Okay, whatever. So match pretty much did not happen. Owens just pretty much came on down to the ring, got jumped by Aleister Black. You're going, okay, this match is a no-brainer. It's pretty obvious who's going to win here. Kevin Owens eventually gets tossed in the ring. He actually wanted to continue on with the match and everything. A little bit of offense from Owens, but RKO pretty much came rather quickly. 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton advances that way. So now you know how that main event match came about and everything. We were talking about Drew McIntyre earlier. Tyson Fury had put out a video over the weekend. I want you guys to listen to this and tell me what you think here. But apparently Tyson Fury is trying to jockey for a potential matchup with Drew McIntyre. Yeah, I'm not sure how many of you guys had heard about that, but let me play this for you guys. I'm just going to mute myself for a little bit. And this is about a 43-second clip. Check this out.
Been sitting on the train on the way home after a long, busy weekend. And I'm thinking about the people that I want to punch in the face. And the first one that springs to mind is a big fella called Drew McIntyre. Now, Drew, you've been having quite a bit to say about me lately. I'd love to punch your face in, honestly. I'd love to give you one of them. Bang. Right in the lips. So grow up here. Step up to the plate. Like I say to your mate AJ, and come and fight the master. Me. So this is an official challenge video to Drew McIntyre, the WWE Heavyweight Champion of the world. Already knocked your pal out, Braun Strowman. I'll do the same to you. Bring it.
So there you go, Tyson Fury pretty much calling out Drew McIntyre. You look. Look, they've been going back and forth pretty much since right before WrestleMania time, right? So, if you ask me straight up, Lee, would you like to see this match? I'm actually good. Really, I'm good. I don't need to see this match. I'm really good. Seriously, I'm more than good. I'm perfect. I don't need to see this. And I'm gonna explain to you the reason why. Look, not everybody can gel and click that well in the wrestling ring. And for me personally, to each its own. I've seen what Tyson Fury can do in the ring, in the world of boxing. I think he's a fucking beast. But as far as in the world of pro wrestling, being in the ring of pro wrestling, I'm just not there. I'm really not. So I think hopefully most fans kind of feel the same way I'm kind of feeling, that can truly just be unbiased. And, you know, no matter what sport you're into, hopefully you can truly be unbiased and really just take a step back and just kind of really look at things. And you know, it's like, I mean, not for nothing, but much like with Cain Velasquez, there isn't really much to be desired. I would be more interested in when's the next time Pat McAfee is going to have a match. I'd be more inclined to wonder about that and even be remotely interested in that. And for the record, I am legit more interested in a Pat McAfee match, because contrary to how some people may feel about Pat McAfee, I thought he did really good. I know you guys probably don't know this, but we did do a WWE we did a WWE NXT TakeOver 30. There was an NXT TakeOver 30 post show, but it's for our Patreon members. And I was very complimentary of Pat McAfee in that match he had with Adam Cole. You know, just kind of give you guys just a little snippet there. And I went into the reasons why and everything. And I'm sure for our Patreon members, I know they usually check out the show. They'll tell you, you know, as far as the points that I made, you know, all very valid. But, you know, you look at Cain Velasquez, just look at the experiment so far. You all got two eyes. Just take a step back. Truly be unbiased. Look at Cain Velasquez. Look at Rob Gronkowski. Look at Tyson Fury. Safe to say all of those have been a bust so far. Have they not? Realistically. You can tell me till you're blue in the face as far as from a monetary status, it was able to do XYZ for WWE. I'm not denying that. But just as far as the entertainment value aspect, as far as really getting your values worth as that fan, to the point you want to see this guy get in there again. Yeah. You know, so I mean, to each its own, but for me, the whole Tyson Fury thing, it does nothing for me whatsoever. I thought, I have to rely on you guys that are boxing gurus and all that. I thought that there was a green light, supposedly, for Tyson Fury taking on Mike Tyson. I mean, I kind of lost track of that. One minute I heard it was going to be Mike Tyson and Tyson Fury, and I don't know what's going on now. So you guys will have to enlighten me about what's been going on with Mike Tyson doing this comeback and everything. You know, does he now have an opponent? And if so, who's his opponent? Let me know, and hopefully we can get that info before, you know, the show is over. Otherwise, worst case scenario, you know, we are going to be coming right back Tuesday night because they're doing a NXT special Tuesday night show. So we'll definitely be live on YouTube and all that, covering the fallout from that. Now, as far as other key points that we could talk about with Raw for this week, IIconics were in a very interesting match, very interesting stipulation that was at hand. And the stipulation was this: for the winning team, they would advance and pretty much get a shot at the women's tag champions. You're going, okay, cool. And for the losers, you get a brand new toaster. Nah, I'm kidding. For the losers, I wish it was just a toaster. For the losers, you're no more. You're no longer a tag team. You're done. You're finished. That's it. You're disbanded. So that's what was at stake with the Riot Squad taking on the IIconics. Riot Squad picking up the W. IIconics are no more. Where do I begin with this, Gwen? Can I just say how elated I am that we're done with the IIconics? Look, to each its own, but I can remember watching those girls down in NXT, and I remember going, okay, well, this is good for the little small NXT crowd, for those that are coming to the Full Sail University and they're checking this out and everything. Okay, that's great for them and everything, but how is it going to resonate when it comes time for the main roster? Because, you know, just because, oh, this is working really well with this small crowd here in NXT, it doesn't always mean that it's going to equal great success on the main roster. This is what I was initially feeling about the IIconics in NXT before they even got the call up, before they even got the promotion, if you will. And plus, I always felt that Peyton Royce, of the two, even back then, looking at the work in NXT, I felt that, no, Peyton Royce, that's the breakout star. That's the singles breakout star. That's the one that needs the heavy investment. As far as bookers and all that in WWE, these girls were given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and it just never really clicked. It never really clicked. There's a good amount of fans that, let's be honest, found the IIconics to be unbearable. If that's even the right word to use. I'm sure that there are probably a lot of neutral fans that are going, oh, the IIconics are no more? Well, like, I could give two shits not, because every time their match comes on, I find myself going to the bathroom to relieve myself. I already relieved myself, but there's an IIconics match on? Well, I'm gonna make something come out. I don't want to watch that match. I find every excuse in the world to not watch that match, any of their matches when they come on. So, did this feel a bit forced? A bit left field? Yeah, it kind of did, especially considering they came back to WWE TV not that long ago. It does rather feel kind of forced. You kind of can't help but wonder, wait a minute, why are we doing this move? Now I will defend the girls from this standpoint. What's the haste? Seriously, what is the haste? Why aren't we milking this continued rivalry going into the next pay-per-view? You know, which is Night of Champions. Why can't we do a pre-show matchup at Night of Champions with these four girls with that stipulation on the line? You know, what's up with that? Why did we rush into such a haste? Very confusing. Very confusing. Why, you know, I'm trying to understand, you know, again, and this is from a storyline continuity and all that standpoint. So just fill me on this, because again, as much as I don't like the IIconics, but I have more of an investment in Peyton Royce and everything, even I can take a step back and say, WWE, you know you fucked up right here, right? So riddle me this. Why would Peyton Royce and Billie Kay agree to a match like this? That's what I don't quite understand. Why would they agree to a match with these kind of stipulations? That I don't understand. Why would Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott agree to a match with these kind of stipulations on the line? You know, that makes no sense. So when I say that this move was really done in such a haste, it really, really was. you had ample of enough time to just have these girls continue on with their feud. And like I said, you can go into Night of Champions and pre-show matchup, put that stipulation on the line. These girls can't stand each other so much, and, you know, challenge gets put out there, and, you know, have them hammer it out in the ring or whatever. But yeah, just so out of nowhere. So it really makes you feel, man, this was kind of forced. What the hell is going on here? And then to add insult to injury, we see Peyton Royce and Billie Kay later on in the night. They pop up on Raw Underground and everything, and they're watching all the action that's going on. And I think it was Marina Sharif and Jasmine Duke. I think they were in the ring, and they were beating the crap out of some girls. And the next thing you know, Shane's like, does anybody else want a piece of those girls? Anybody else want a piece of those girls? We see Peyton Royce say to Billie Kay, come on, we can take those girls on. Come on, let's get in there. And kind of looks as though they're both pretty pumped up for it. You know, they're psyched. But Peyton Royce just tosses in Billie Kay like yesterday's trash. And she's smiling and laughing and everything. You're like, wow, like, this is how you do a person that was your best friend for all these years? And you just hang him out to dry like that? That's worse than the fucking... That's worse than the freaking WWE Battlegrounds, and you're throwing your opponent into the hungry alligators there. What the hell, man? What way to have your best friend go out there hanging out with the sharks? What the hell? So, yeah, this just feels so, you know. But look, I will say this, and fans need to prepare themselves. Just because the IIconics is no more, it doesn't exactly mean that we could potentially be done all together with the union of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. You know, this could be a case where there's some type of a repackage going on. Just saying, you guys got to prepare for that. You guys got to prepare for that. Remember, the IIconics might be no more, but, you know, can we get more specific here? Can we get more specific? It's all about a way with words that you got to pay attention to right now. So this could be a little bit of a interesting swerve just to kind of get these girls repackaged a little bit. That's kind of what you want to have in the back of your mind. What's probably going to be going on first and foremost in your mind instantly is, okay, so this is all about singles runs now. So Peyton Royce is probably going to embark on a singles path here, right? You know, that's what you're left to assume. And if that is going to be the case, I mean, I think she's going to do phenomenally well, honestly. Of the two, I always felt that Peyton Royce was the better wrestler, or is the better wrestler. Speaking of females, definitely want to show some love to Mickie James. Happy birthday to Mickie James, by the way. Not sure how many of you guys were aware of it, but today is Mickie James' birthday. Hard to believe, but DC, Maryland, Virginia's own Mickie James, by the way. Gotta make sure we show her some love. 41. Does not look 41, does she? I mean, she looks like she's in her early 30s. She wears 41 so fucking well. Damn, yeah, she was looking awesome. Extra dupishly scrumptious. I know that's not a word, but that's what I'm going with tonight. She looked fucking amazing. Very stunningly beautiful tonight. Nice little birthday present they kind of gave her there. You know, after a little bit of stuff that went down with her coming back to WWE programming. What was that, about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago? And pretty much that went over like a wet fart. We talked about it right here on the show and everything. Even to a degree, she commented, not exactly how I envisioned it, but hey, happy to be back. You know, we saw her in a nice little position where potentially she could be having a matchup against Asuka for the Raw Women's title. I'm sold on that. For all of the significant contributions that Mickie James has made to the sport of pro wrestling, to the women's division, for all the great, phenomenal matches she's given us over the years. And you're telling me that Mickie James and Asuka, these girls could essentially reignite a feud? Oh yeah. Sign me up for that. I definitely am down for that. The whole look, I love Natty. I really do. I sincerely love Natty, but I'm just not feeling it with this Lana Natty storyline. It's not really doing anything for me. It just makes me feel indifferent. I honestly, I would love to be in a position where I'm missing Natty. At this point, I would love to just not see Natty on TV for a little bit, and Natty just comes back 6 months later. Whatever, new hairdo, whatever the case may be, new hair color, she's a brunette or jet black, whatever the case may be. I just want to be in a position where I'm not seeing her for a good minute so that my heart can grow fonder. That's just where I'm at right now. Kind of fucked up to say, isn't it? But that's just the point where I'm at right now as a fan. I'm sure there's probably a decent amount of fans that probably feel that same way to a certain degree, but yeah, that's where I am. But I hope that match happens between Mickie James and Asuka, because that would definitely be a fucking show stealer, especially if it's booked just right. Yeah, I definitely would love to see that go down. Just looking at some of the other stuff that had happened on Raw tonight, just trying to see if there's some other additional stuff we can talk about here. Oh yeah, Retribution. So we don't get Retribution at SummerSlam. We don't get Retribution at Payback. We didn't even get Retribution on this past Friday's SmackDown. And yet we get Retribution on tonight's Raw. This was just so beyond. What's going on? You understand what I'm saying? This was just so beyond. Well, what are we doing here? And I'm just led to the impression, once again, does WWE even really know what the hell they're doing or what they're trying to do with this Retribution stable? Like, do they even know? Do they even have a clue? Because it really comes off as if on paper they have not figured out exactly a middle and an end. They just came up with a really good beginning, and they just keep stretching out that beginning, and it's silly. It's silly. I hate to sound redundant, but when you have these guys continue to come out every single week, first of all, if you're going to have a stable like Retribution, and they're causing havoc and all this other shit, you got to have them pull a no mercy. Anything goes. Okay, so we're going to have us a nice little fancy main event match. Winner of that goes on to Night of Champions to face Drew McIntyre for his title. Nah. If I'm fucking Retribution and I really want to put the spotlight on me and my stable, I'm gonna fuck that all up. I'm gonna fuck that all up. All of your best little moments that's going on during the program throughout the night, I'm going to figure out a way where it counts the most. If I can do it 3 times, that's great. If I can do it twice, brilliant. If I can only do it once and make my presence felt, then I'm going to make my presence felt where it counts the most. So, these ill-placed spots where Retribution is doing his thing. And then we don't hear these guys talking. It's like, okay, well, what's the Retribution about? We've got Adam Pearce that has threatened the security personnel for tonight's Raw. Hey, go out there. You know your job. You know what you need to do. And if you don't freaking do it, there's going to be serious consequences. I'm going to find somebody else that can do the work for me. Blah, 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 blah. Well, obviously, the security detail failed, because they interfered in what was the match? They interfered in the Street Profits taking on Angel Garza and who's the other one? Angel Garza and Andrade. They interfered in that one. pretty much was giving everybody a beat down and everything. Now, Angel Garza, he was able to roll out with that girl from The Bachelorette, and I'm just trying to understand something here. We got plenty of cool, kick-ass women on the roster. Even though I might be a little bit burned out with Natty and everything, she's part of that list. We got some very talented women on the roster, stretched across all the brands, even down in developmental. Why are we, seriously, why are we continuing to invest stock and time into this chick from The Bachelorette? Well, why are we continuing to do this? Because what's the payoff? That's my whole thing. What is the payoff? This girl has gotten so much goddamn camera time for doing so very little. And I'm just trying to, again, this is one of those deals where what's the payoff? What's the end result? Okay, you're trying to take these fans on a journey. I don't exactly know what this journey entails. You're trying to introduce us to somebody new, but we don't quite have the incentive on why we as the fans should be invested in this particular individual. It's just, you just turn on your TV one day and there's this wicked pimple that's on your shoulder. Wasn't there yesterday, wasn't there a week ago, but you just look and all of a sudden it's just, hi, how you doing? Hi, it's just right there. So, what's the payoff? What's the end result here? And, storyline continuity here, I guess Old Man Lee remembers, but am I the only guy that seems to remember that there was an infamous episode of NXT where Angel Garza invited his then at the time girlfriend in the ring, and he popped a question to her in the middle of the ring, and she said yes? I guess I'm not supposed to remember that. And I just think it's kind of funny that we've yet to acknowledge that on the main show. I guess we just, mum is the word. We're just going to keep that on the hush and everything. I just need to know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got some of these things with your story arcs, you just kind of got to clean up a little bit. And besides that point that I just made, it's just, what's the incentive here? Why does this girl keep lingering around? I so wanted to see Retribution, especially the Retribution girls particularly. I so wanted to see them beat the living shit out of this girl. I so wanted to. We see freaking Angel Garza. He's saying to her, you know what Angel Garza has been reminding me of as of late? Because, all I see of his character as of late, all talk, no game. He comes off like a very weak version of Pepe Le Pew. That's exactly how he comes. Oh! He just comes up to the woman. Oh, mon chéri. Mon chéri, oh, I will love you a long time. Yes. You see, there is nobody else in the world that means so much to me than you. Oh, my magnificent peach. My peach cobbler. My apple pie, my sweet cherry dumplings. It is you across the sky, across the moon, across the heaven, across the earth, across all of the Milky Ways that I will cross over to be with. He reminds me exactly of Pepe Le Pew. And I'm just looking at him, but Pepe Le Pew, to a degree, he kind of had game. Yeah, he was stinky, but he kind of had more game and swag than Garza there, but he reminds me of a great value Pepe Le Pew to a certain degree there, man. But no, he just he left that fucking Bachelorette girl high and dry tonight after saying to her, "Oh, mon chéri, I will have your back. I will have your front too, if you will allow it." But no, mon chéri, any danger that comes to you, I will die for you. Yes, darling, if you want me to. Ooh, I will die for you. And then as soon as Retribution pops up, like a fucking credit card that was declined at Nordstrom. He just fucking rolled the fuck out and left her little blonde ass hanging there. Oh my god, that was awesome. That was awesome. Only thing that would have been just more icing on the cake, Retribution girls would have just beat the living shit out of her and we never see her ass again. Oh, that would have been great. That would have been fucking heaven. Instead, they let her run off in her high heels. Like, come on. Come on, man. How you gonna allow somebody to run off in high heels? And she wasn't even running that fucking hard. That was the fucking, you know, we've seen some girls run with some heels on, man. We've seen them do some serious running. But it was like, she wasn't even fucking like Kid Flash. She wasn't even rolling like that. It's like, we couldn't have the Retribution girls grab her by the hair and fucking, like, oh, come on, man, come on. But yeah, this whole Retribution thing, I said it last week, I will say it again. We gotta have Vince McMahon. We gotta have, you know, Adam Pearce. We gotta have somebody give an open mic night to Retribution once and for all. Like, you know, hey, look, you guys been doing this week after week after week after week after week after week after week. Hey, here's an idea. We give you invitation to the ring. You tell us why you're doing what you're doing. What remedy, if at all, how we can reach some type of a resolution with you guys. What will it take to reach resolution? And let's go from there. You just got to do it. And then, you know, you just really led to the impression even more from kind of what I had said, you know, again last week. You know, who's behind this? The fact that they've yet to interfere with a Raw Underground. I mean, that's mind-blowing. That is mind-blowing. You know, if you really want to make your presence felt, beat the living shit out of Shane McMahon's bodyguard there at the door for Raw Underground. You really want to make your presence felt, overtake that. And yet, we've yet to see that go down. We've yet to see Retribution. The few times we've seen Vince McMahon, we've yet to see Retribution corner him. You know, kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. It really kind of makes you wonder, okay, so who exactly is behind Retribution? And by the way, I love the idea I had teased on the Payback post show there with Roman Reigns, Retribution. You guys didn't hear any of that. Just go back and listen to that when you guys get a minute. But other than that, is there anything else we need to talk about with regards to Raw tonight? I mean, I don't really think there's anything else. I'm just kind of looking in the notes one more time here. And I don't really think there's anything else that we need to dive into. If so, and you guys want me to comment on something else that happened from Raw tonight, let me know. But other than that, you know, so episode. Let's see what you guys had said. Looking at the polling results here, let's see what you guys had to say about Raw tonight. You know, and I think I'm on to something here with regards to Pepe Le Pew. Pepe Le Pew Garza. That's what I'm gonna start calling him. Pepe Le Pew Garza. Yeah, that's the new name for my brother there. Every time I see that motherfucker. Oh, mon chéri. Mon chéri. Alright, let's see here. Twitter, looking at the polling results here. 50% of you are giving this week's Raw a thumbs down. Meanwhile, 50% of you are giving it a thumbs up. I feel that. I respect that. All right, let's see what you guys are saying on YouTube. Again, youtube.com/the RCWR show. By the way, y'all been enjoying the show so far. Please do me a huge favor. Hit that like. Do that for me. Helps out. The more people that like the content, the more people that go out of their way and favorite, share, and all that, the better we can reach even more people. You feel where I'm coming from? We can widen out even more and extend our audience and all that. By the way, got to give a shout out to, was looking at the subscription feeds and also, no, that's right. I was looking at the subscription feeds across many outlets and I was seeing that we had picked up some new subs and all that. So I do appreciate that. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. Over on YouTube, over at the communities tab, I'm seeing that early results here but we got 33% of you that are giving Raw a thumbs up. Meanwhile, 67% of you are giving it a thumbs down. So if you haven't cast your vote, pick your poll and cast your votes. Hey, let's get into some Patreon shout outs, and then we'll get into some interesting headlines, including Mauro Ranallo and Brock Lesnar no longer with the WWE. Also reflect on the passing of the great John Thompson of Georgetown Hoyas fame, and a little bit more. So keep it right here. But patreon.com/RCWR show. That's where you can check out great audio, video content, exclusive content you won't be able to find anywhere else. We're already working out some kinks to bring forth some new content dropping in September. We're going to be kicking off the first week of September with an all-new Impact Showdown covering Impact Wrestling Fallout. Oh man, great time to be a wrestling fan. Again, MLW just releasing the news that they are going to be filming episodes, I believe, late September or early October, and that they'll be relaunching in November. So, so excited. I'm so excited. I miss me some MLW. But shout out to Patreon members Gino Morgan, shout out to Sean Kenter, shout out to Justin Stock, shout out to Michael Wolf, shout out to John Davis, shout out to Tony Bean Gaming. He covers tips, tricks, news, walkthroughs, reviews for Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, also the upcoming Marvel Square Enix game, Avengers. Matter of fact, that's going to be dropping later this week. It's supposed to be dropping September 4th, if I'm not mistaken. Check him out. Great YouTube channel. He's got a great Patreon paywall as well. Shout out to all of our Patreon members. $5, beginning at just $5 monthly. You get access to boatloads of cool content. Matter of fact, as we speak, I think there's like over 100 audio clip shows. I think of that. I think there's probably like about maybe 10 video shows that's available right now on Patreon. You know, get access to all that just for $5 monthly. So do consider signing up. All right, so let's we got some more shout outs we'll get into, but we'll get into those a little bit later. So let's talk about Mauro Ranallo. So if you go on WWE's website right now, you will see on the main page that WWE and Mauro Ranallo have parted ways. And I just personally felt that when I didn't see Mauro at NXT TakeOver 30, I just personally felt that, something's going on here. Something's going on. Mauro would not miss a takeover unless there was some type of an emergency or he just was not feeling well. Something's up. And as those of you that listen to the takeover show, post show I did for Patreon, you notice I didn't mention anything about Mauro. I didn't put any guesses out there as far as, what do I think is going on? You know why? Because that's all it would have been, was a guess. I don't want to assume. My whole thing was, well, if Mauro Ranallo, through his respected people, through Ken Shamrock's brother Frank Shamrock, if they aren't putting anything out there, then okay, just let things be. Just wait a couple of days, just wait it out, and we'll see what happens. But to hear that now, it's official, because WWE put out the statement and everything that Mauro Ranallo and them, they've amicably parted ways. That makes me a little heartbroken. It really does. But when you look at the type of schedule that Mauro had, Mauro's covering Bellator. He's doing the boxing for Showtime. He's also got his respected organizations, and he's talking about mental health awareness and all that. And then, he's trying to take care of his own respected family. So he can only be in so many places and everything. And what I thought was interesting, and I probably was one of the first people that had brought it up early on during this pandemic, which was the fact that, And I'll say it again. I'm not really sure how many of you guys had noticed, but you know, WWE, it's safe to say that they went above and beyond for Mauro, especially during this pandemic. And the reason why I say that, think back to all the episodes that you guys had saw of NXT during the pandemic. How many times did you guys physically see Mauro Ranallo? Just marinate on that. I bet you're going to come up with 0. Just stop and think about that. Meanwhile, when it came to, I'll say Vic Joseph, or when it came to Tom Phillips, you always saw them, did you not? Think about when Beth Phoenix was doing commentating for NXT, again, during this pandemic. How many times did you see Beth Phoenix physically on NXT? I bet you'll probably come up with another 0. You might be able to come up with 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 appearances if you're lucky. If you're really paying attention, you might be able to pull that. But I doubt it. You'll probably come up with 0 just like with Mauro. But let's stay with Mauro for now. Mauro is a definitive 0. You have not seen him on NXT. You've heard his voice. Yes, you've heard his voice. But you've not seen him physically on NXT. Man, it's safe to say that, to WWE's credit, you know, they tried to work with him, and, you know, if Mauro wanted to work remotely and, you know, get his stuff in that way, you know, so be it. However they had to do it just to get the show done, get it in the books and all that, you know, so be it. Look, it's easy to film the matches, and then afterwards, once you have everything on a fucking tape or whatever, it's easy to then freaking have all those people, okay, they're all in Zoom or, you know, whatever, and they're laying down their parts that way. It'd be no different than what Josh Barnett and Jim Ross used to do the few times out of the year when they would, I think, go to California to voice over episodes of New Japan Pro Wrestling on Access TV. It would be no different than that. So, you know, to WWE's credit, you know, they went above and beyond. Hunter and all them, they went above and beyond to work with Mauro. I'm not justifying the, you know, the fact that Mauro's gone and everything, but just to kind of show you how much they respected Mauro and how much they were trying to do their best to work with him and how they didn't want to lose him. That was a great acquisition that they had got. And I don't care for however long NXT continues to operate, Mauro Ranallo is always going to be the definitive voice of NXT. Mauro was very classy with his words, you know, as far as wishing everybody at WWE well and everything. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to see if I can actually pull up. No, I don't see it. Yeah, sadly, when you go to the website, there's nothing that's there right now. Now, I know there's probably a lot of you guys that's going to be like, Mauro Ranallo, AEW bound? And, you know, no. Mauro Ranallo, New Japan Pro Wrestling bound? No. Mauro Ranallo, Impact Wrestling bound? No. No, that would be a significant upgrade. No disrespect to Madison Rayne. I love Madison Rayne. I've had a crush on that little Jezebel for some years now. Continue to. Nothing personal, Josh Matthews. Please don't beat me up. But, you know, nothing personal against her. But, shit, I'm sure Madison Rayne would probably be like, yeah, if we could get Mauro, yeah, he is an upgrade from me. Hell yeah, let's. But, you know, I think that would be a nice little pairing, Josh Matthews and Mauro, but nah. I don't see it happening. I truly believe that as far as the plate that Mauro has right now, I truly believe the guy is full. I just don't see him. Just looking into the crystal ball, 3 months from now, no. 6 months from now,
No. A year from now, no. No, I just don't see it. I'm more than convinced that, no, he's good. As far as the pro wrestling goes, he's good. He can do without it. His plate's full as it is. Man, how many of you guys watched Mauro Ranallo's bipolar rock and roller documentary? I mean, his plate's pretty full as it is. He did put out a statement. It was on his Facebook page. I know a lot of you guys are, wait a minute, Mauro has social media? He does have the Facebook. As far as the Twitter and an Instagram, no. But he does have Facebook. And remember, he deleted the Twitter account November of last year. But he thanked WWE. He said, and I quote, "I appreciate the opportunity I had to realize my childhood dream of working in sports entertainment, and I wish WWE well in the future. Now I want to direct my focus and devote my time to my other projects and to my mental health charitable activities and the well-being of my mother and myself." So, you gotta respect that. You gotta respect that. I'm gonna miss the guy. I mean, all the contributions that he made. I mean, he called some damn good matches. I can just remember the thing that I loved most about Mauro Ranallo. You could definitely put him in that category with Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Heenan. You could put him up there with the Vince McMahon, Macho Man pairing. You could definitely put him up there with, the Gene Okerlunds and all that. When Mauro would talk, there was just something about the way he was offering his commentating on what you were seeing play out before your eyes. It was a nice throwback, but at the same time, it was so loose. There was a great looseness that went about Mauro. He did not feel, nor was he in that realm, that mode that we all have come to be kind of dull to after a while. The Michael Coles, come on, Michael Cole. Vic Joseph was kind of coming around, but you could also feel to a certain degree he was kind of in that Tom Phillips. Tom Phillips to a degree, he's kind of been that, but Mauro was very, very loose. Very loose. Corey Graves, loose. Although these days, I gotta say, Corey Graves kind of seems a little bit, what's the right word I'm looking for? I need y'all's help. He doesn't quite feel like the Corey Graves from a year ago or even 2 years ago. He's kind of dialed back just a little bit, just a little tiny bit. But I hope that with regards to Wade Barrett or Stu Bennett, I hope that WWE is able to work out some type of a deal with him. I think that would be phenomenal. I will say it was refreshing to hear Stu Bennett on commentating. And the fact that we're pretty much going from Mauro to Stu Bennett, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I think that is a very good compliment, actually. I know probably some of you guys, and it's kind of sad that, we got some fans that they can only just stay with certain promotions, but I'm telling you, Stu Bennett did a phenomenal job over with the NWA as far as offering commentating. And if you guys are able to just kind of really get an idea of what you've been missing, I would highly recommend you check out, since they got all their episodes on YouTube, NWA Power and all that. Go check out NWA and check out the work that Stu Bennett had been doing for them for these past handful of months. Really good shit. Well prepared, and you might not get the Mamma Mia, you might not get all that, but Mauro, has a great flow about him. He has good temperament, I would say. Really does a good job in walking you through what you're seeing there, especially tapping into, ring psychology and all that. He's really good. He's really good. And I'm not just saying that. I'm not trying to blow smoke up the guy's ass. He's really good. Trust me, if it was a case where he kind of sucks, I would definitely call it as I see it. But no, he's, if you were even remotely impressed with what you got of him from TakeOver and you didn't check out the NWA stuff, go check out the NWA stuff and you'll definitely have a better idea of, let me put it to you this way. Stu Bennett and NXT is a damn good thing, because what you see of him from the NWA, you're definitely out of 100%, I would say 85% of that from NWA. That's what you're going to be getting with Stu Bennett over in NXT. So I hope they're able to work out something long term with Stu Bennett if they haven't already done it already. But Mauro Ranallo, he's definitely going to be missed. I remember at one point, you all remember as well, the whole SmackDown thing. Boy, that didn't last that long, did it? I'm hearing a humming noise going on, by the way. Hang on a second, guys. I'm hearing a humming noise. Let me see if I can turn that down a little. Wonder where that's coming from. It's a weird humming noise. I don't know where it's coming from right now, but it's all good. I'm just fiddling around with the dials real quick. Okay, I'm good now. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just bringing this up a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, he was with WWE for, God, what? 2014, 15? So, I mean, that's a good amount of time. Look, it happens. Some people, they want to go on ahead and they want to move on to other things. It happens. Which brings me to the next guy. Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar. Looks like he's done with the WWE as his contract expired. Brock Lesnar went on ahead. He let his WWE contract expire. According to PW Insider, the two sides, they are currently working on a new contract, but nothing has been signed as of yet. And as the two sides continue to work out some type of a deal, Lesnar's merchandise on the WWE shop website, it's not there. Now, I checked the website right before we got ready to do the show, and let me show you what happens when you key in Brock Lesnar on shop, on the WWE shop website. I actually have the image right here. Look at this. I bullshit you not. Look at this right here. I know you guys that's going to be checking out the audio version, you sadly are not going to be seeing what I'm showing the people that's checking out the webcast version of the show. But what the people that's watching the webcast version are seeing right now, when you go to WWE Shop and you type in Brock Lesnar and you search, your search results, it pulls up, oops, your search generated nothing basically. And you're like, what the fuck? So it's almost kind of like he doesn't exist. But he is on the, I think he's in the alumni section of the WWE roster and everything. But yeah, no Brock Lesnar merchandise right now. Can you guys believe that? No Brock Lesnar merchandise right now. So look, Brock Lesnar first came back to WWE in 2012. Do you guys realize that? I mean, my mind was kind of blown when I was just going back, back down memory lane. When I was just doing that, I'm like, yeah, 2012, Brock Lesnar came back, and I'm going, oh yeah, the infamous Raw night, Raw after Mania, he F5 the shit out of John Cena, yeah. And you're like, wow, Brock Lesnar lasted a good minute this go round in the WWE. He essentially almost lasted 10 years there in the WWE. The hell with the deal, the contracts and, short dates and, it's like almost 10 years, this second rodeo round with the WWE. He's 43, just turned 43, I believe, in July. So, I mean, look, with what's going on with the pandemic and everything, I would not blame WWE if at this point they're saying to themselves, you know what? We're really good. We're okay. We got this pandemic that is still going on right now. We're trying to save a little bit of money where we can. Do we really want to try to even re-sign Brock Lesnar? I mean, look, Brock Lesnar, he's going to want buku's money. Got this whole pandemic thing that's going on too. So, you know, he's definitely going to want even more if we're going to try to have him come out. He's probably going to want to work even less dates under the circumstance of the whole COVID and everything. So, you know, do we really want to fucking do this? So if there's a little bit of, and I would not be surprised, you know, just 2 cents from a distance, could be totally wrong with this. But, you know, if WWE is honestly saying to themselves, you know, what's the hurry? You know, why do we need to even rush into re-signing Lesnar? You know, working out some type of a new deal with this guy. You know, what's the hurry? Look at all this talent that we got. Look at some of the stars that just came back and everything. You know, we're actually okay. You know, we'll be all right. I wouldn't be so quick. I mean, I ask you all, would you all be so quick to re-sign Lesnar? I mean, seriously, would you be so quick to re-sign him? Now, of course, you got the big question that, you know, it's obvious. Okay, so Brock Lesnar, what's next? What's next? You know, if you're Tony Khan, I mean, we got to go there. Ferrari, Jaguars, switching phone names, yelling with the top down, money in the thing. Jigga, I don't like it if it don't bling bling. Like, money ain't a thing. Like, okay, so money ain't a thing if you Tony Khan. So if you're the Khan family, Lesnar, AEW, do you make a run for Lesnar? Man. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. If you hear that fucking Lesnar is available, you want to put some fucking feelers out, and you want to see if you can maybe engage in a little bit of talk there and see what you might be able to get. You want to just test the water, and you want to see what's up. You want to see what's up. Now, if you were to ask me, Lee, you know, what do you think the odds are that Brock Lesnar is going to fucking go to AEW? What do you think the odds are of that? Slim to none that Lesnar will end up in AEW. And I'm going to explain to you exactly the reason why. I personally feel that the minute it's revealed that Brock Lesnar is maybe even close to inking out some type of a deal with AEW, I just have this gut feeling that Vince McMahon has so much respect for Brock Lesnar. I almost feel like Vince McMahon's heart would fucking break. Just the idea that Lesnar working for somebody else. I can just imagine certain people are in his ear right now saying, look, if he ends up going elsewhere, it is what it is. You know, we'll be all right. You know, it's like, we got to think about the future. You know, this is all about the next generation of talents stepping up, elevating them and everything. We'll be okay. You know, we don't need Brock. We're good. But I think Vince would be, again, 2 cents from a distance. I just personally feel that, you know, it almost kind of feels like an Undertaker thing to a certain degree. It almost kind of feels like, nah, man, you know, Lesnar, that's my kid. I built him up. No. To the point, I just feel as though if AEW were to make an offer, I truly feel as though Lesnar's people would be saying to Vince, look, this is what's on the table right now from AEW. Can you match this? Can you beat this? Can you give us $1 more than this? Can you give us $500,000, $1 million more than this? If you can, we're all yours. I just feel like that's what's going to be the end result. So as far as my guess from a distance, Lesnar, AEW, I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. First of all, you got to have Lesnar be in a position where he's literally saying, fuck WWE. I mean, he's literally he's bitter with them. There's got to be something that's just manifested in such fashion where he just, man, I'm fucking done with these guys. You don't go back to WWE and last with them almost 10 years, this long. And, okay, so now you're going to go work elsewhere? I'm just not seeing that. I'm just not seeing that. So it's going to be interesting. These next couple of months, I think it's going to be interesting. Look, honestly, Lesnar is rolling in money. He is financially good. He is a smart businessman. He's not hurting for cash. He wants to be chilling on his farm somewhere and enjoying his beautiful wife, Sable, and kids and all that. He's good. He is not in a rush right now. WWE knows this. They're dealing with this whole pandemic thing. You know, you ask me my 2 cents from a distance. I wouldn't be surprised if on the low, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Vince McMahon and Brock had a conversation and Vince says, look, I'd like to work out a deal with you right now, but that current contract that I got with Bill Goldberg is kind of kicking my ass. And with this whole pandemic thing going on and everything, yeah, I want to go ahead and I want to hammer through the Goldberg contract. And, you know, as we get closer to his deal wrapping up, I definitely want to get you back on the saddle. I just want you to hang for a little bit. You know, please don't go work elsewhere. You know, if you get in the itch and, you know, you're in a spot, you need money or whatever, you know, at least give me an opportunity to match or top it, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe has some type of an agreement like that going on, but I know a lot of people, that's going to be the hot topic this week as far as Lesnar to AEW. Like, I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. You know, everybody wants to be where, you know, where the flow is, you know, where it's kind of, it's like, how much sweeter is the schedule going to get if you're Brock Lesnar with AEW? I mean, seriously. I mean, we know the Khan family can't afford him, but then it's a question of, okay, well, what does he go over there? And then the other thing that you got to be looking at, again, Lesnar is a pretty smart guy. The other thing you got to be looking at is, okay, so you get Lesnar in AEW. Who are you going to have him feud with? Like, seriously, who are you going to have him feud with? Who are you going to have him feud with? Who are you going to ultimately have him put over? That list is so goddamn short, man. I mean, off the break, man, that'd be fucking killer if eventually you get Brian Cage and Lesnar in the same ring together. Oh, man, that's like your fucking WrestleMania if you're AEW. I mean, that would just totally kick mega fucking ass. Brock Lesnar taking on Luchasaurus. I think that would be a pretty damn good, interesting matchup. Lesnar against Brody Lee. That would be in the whole Dark Order thing. I think that would kind of be a nice, fresh new element to a certain degree. Lance Hoyt. That'd be a pretty good one too. Now, we've seen what Lesnar has been able to do with smaller guys such as Dean Ambrose, Rey Mysterio. Could we finally maybe even remotely come close to getting the type of match that Jon Moxley wanted to do with Lesnar originally in their WrestleMania joint that made fucking Moxley go sour and shit afterwards, you know, speaking candidly and openly and honestly about the whole shit, you know, potentially. Now, I'm not saying just because we've seen Brock Lesnar take on smaller guys, Sonny Kiss, love you, but I'm not trying to see Brock Lesnar defending the TNT Championship against Sonny Kiss and they go fucking 25 minutes long. No. Fuck that. Lesnar taking on fucking what's my man from fucking Jurassic Express? Marco Stunt? Yeah, no. We're not doing that. We're not fucking doing that. Lesnar Cody? Fuck yeah. That would probably be a pretty badass match. He's picked up some bulk. There's a strong curiosity in me that I would love to see how a Scorpio Sky and Lesnar would mesh. I personally, I think that would be a very interesting matchup right there. Is there anybody else I'm forgetting? I'm just, so it's pretty short. The list is pretty short. Maybe MJF. It's got to be the right story arc. Man, I can just kind of picture the promos MJF would be having. So, I mean, you got some decent opponents that's over there that Lesnar could fucking work with, especially if you put it in a nice little position contract-wise where, hey, Lesnar, you got full creative control, you got final say in, how the matches are booked with you involved in them, blah, 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 blah. But as far as him, yeah, going to AEW, I'm just not seeing it. Sorry, not even seeing it. See, so other than that, see what else can we get into here? Trying to figure out what else we can get into on the show, because I mean we are going to be coming right back Tuesday night, so I want to give a shout out to the passing of beloved coach here in the nation's capital of Washington D.C., John Thompson. Great fucking coach, man. Great fucking coach. By the time I got here to DC, I pretty much was able to see his final 5 to 7 years coaching the Hoyas and everything. This was a man that had a damn good, impressive record. If you know your basketball, you love all things basketball, how do you not know about John Thompson? I hate to say junior because I'm talking about a grown ass man. Yeah, I'm talking about someone that is an elder. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful by not putting the junior in there. I'm actually trying to be respectful and just recognizing him as John Thompson. But I mean, a great dominant run in the 1980s. He passed away at the age of 78. The family had put out a statement and everything. 78, good, nice run. Good, nice long run. Georgetown had won the 1984 NCAA tournament under Thompson. He doesn't like being referred to as the first black coach to win a national championship. But I know he doesn't like that, and he's said it publicly, but the fact is the fact that he did become the first black coach to win a national championship and the first black coach to win a title across all major sports. Because you got to remember, he did win 2 championships when he was a player playing for the Boston Celtics back in the day and everything. And I mean, just an impressive record that is probably not going to be touched by another black coach, if not any coach. But I mean, look at this, 596 wins at Georgetown. Let me tell you something, and I can give you guys that innuendo, if you will, being here in the nation's capital. And Georgetown, all it used to be known for was its academics. Hey, you're trying to be a doctor, you're trying to major in business, you're trying to, okay, Georgetown, that's where you want to go. Georgetown University, that's where you want to go. But when John Thompson came in and he coached the Hoyas, I mean, he fucking put Georgetown on his back, and he fucking made it be that place. Okay, everybody and they mama gotta come here. This is where you have to go. And it's so funny because not to put it on myself, but again, I am based out here in DC. I remember when I was in high school. I remember how me and my friends, because our high school was in Georgetown, and we weren't that far from Georgetown University. And I remember every single opportunity we would get, we would always play hooky, and we would fucking go, and we would actually go to the Georgetown campus, and we would flirt with some of the girls that were there, and sometimes we got lucky. Sometimes we were able to get some of the girls' numbers and everything, myself included. Other times, we weren't really paying attention to the girls. We were just going to the campus because they had good food. We knew we could hang out there without being bothered. God, try going to the Georgetown campus today. Good luck with that. You're probably going to get stopped like, I don't know what. You're gonna be looking for badges and all that other crazy shit now, but back then in the late 90s, actually mid 90s, going into the early 2000s, you used to be able to just walk on the campus, nobody would fucking bother you. Other times we would fucking go to the campus and we would play basketball. Sometimes we actually played against some of the Georgetown Hoyas players. I bullshit you not. We'd get our ass whooped. We have some money on the line and everything, but we'd get our ass whooped. But I loved it. I loved Georgetown, the campus itself. I loved it. So much so that in my senior year in high school, we had different recruiters that would come to the school and you should come to our college because blah, 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 yakety smackety. And it's like, okay, all right, cool. And it's like, all right, yeah, definitely interested. So, how much? And then you talk about the pricing and all that. It's kind of, yeah, I'm good. And we did have a recruiter from Georgetown that came. And for me, I wasn't really so much interested in the academics because I was majoring in visual arts, fine arts. So I wasn't really interested in the academics. What I was more interested in was their sports program. That's what I was interested in, because aside from trying to get a degree in fine arts, visual arts and everything, there was also a part of me that, hey, I wouldn't mind playing for a basketball team. So my first choice was to go to Georgetown because I wanted to be a Hoya. And it didn't happen because when it came time to, okay, what's going on with the pricing for, going to the school and all that, y'all should already know that looked into, you did your rounds of colleges and all that. Y'all should already know that shit is expensive. Georgetown particularly, expensive as hell. So Georgetown did not happen. I went with the next best thing. Number 2 on the list was Maryland University. I'm going, okay, Terps, I could still major and, I could eventually go, do something with basketball. Cause I was a pretty good guard. I was not a pure shooter. I'll be honest with you guys. No. I was not no. But what I was really good at was fucking blocking. I was damn good at blocking. I was very irritating as a blocker. I wasn't doing no Dikembe Mutombo shit or anything like that. It's just, okay, you need me to guard somebody, I'm like literally stuck to their ass. It's like, that's how good I am at fucking blocking them and all that. So I was interested in, doing something like that, in joining a team. And it didn't matter for me if I wasn't, part of the starting 5. I could just be on the bench. I could be second string or third string. It didn't matter to me. Just as long as I was able to get on the team, I was happy with that, basically. So Terps was something that when the next recruiter came and it was from Maryland University, I'm going, okay. And it was the same deal with Georgetown Hoyas, with Georgetown University. It was like, okay, they're too expensive. So I eventually had settled for a 2-year community college to get my associate's degree and everything. A little small joint out in Silver Spring. I had settled for them instead. But man, I just remember the times when me and my friends used to go to the Georgetown campus. Man, it was like great fucking times, and we used to interact with all the the actual students there and pick their brain on what's going on with the teams and all that. And out here, John Thompson, so much love, so much respect that he had. Again, 596 wins at Georgetown, led the Hoyas to 6 of the first 12 Big East tournament championships, 7 NCAA tournament Elite 8 appearances, 3 national championship games, 1984 national championship. And probably for me, one of the most coolest kick-ass things that John Thompson did in his lifetime. This does not get talked about enough, but I want you all to do your research, okay? But he was one of those type of coaches. You got to understand something. A lot of the men that played for him, your Patrick Ewings, your Dikembe Mutombos, Allen Iverson, who when he was giving his Hall of Fame speech and everything, he said that hey, this man saved my life. This man saved my life. If it wasn't for him, I don't think I would be alive today. I damn sure know I probably would have not have gone on to the NBA. Like, you could forget about it. But this man, the way he coached and everything, he was like a father to a lot of these young men, boys that were becoming men, boys to men. He was a father figure for a lot of these guys, especially with the type of upbringings that a lot of them were having from broken homes and everything. I say that because there was an infamous drug dealer out here in DC by the name of Rayful Edmond. Look that guy up. This guy was right up there with Bumpy Johnson, Nicky Barnes, just to give you an idea of this guy. He's in his mid-50s now. He's incarcerated. About, I want to say last year or the year before, they did take a look at his life sentence, because he did get sentenced to life. But there were hearings for him to see whether or not his incarceration should be reduced to time served based on information he had provided to authorities revolving around 20 homicides. And there was surveys and all that was released saying, hey, he should be released. He served his time and everything. Yeah, he should be released. But Rayful Edmond, this is a guy that, just like with Nicky Barnes, just like with Bumpy Johnson, but think more so Nicky Barnes. This was a man during the 1980s right here in DC that was largely responsible, largely credited to introducing crack cocaine to the Washington DC area during the crack epidemic. You all know that live in DC, y'all know that. All the shit that went down with Rayful Edmond escalated the crime rate. Thanks to him, DC for the longest, and still to a degree to this day, is dubbed the murder capital of the United States. Yeah. Sarcastically, I say all thanks to Rayful Edmond. But this was a guy, he moved large amounts of cocaine. Large amounts of cocaine. He had him one big ass enterprise that was going on. And it took him a minute, but they got his ass. This guy This guy bought between 1,000 to 2,000 kilos per week, if not higher. And he was associated with the Medellin cartel. Now, if you guys know about your cartels and everything. So, I mean, this man was moving shit. This man was fucking moving shit. And he had a meeting with John Thompson. And John Thompson, without any weapons, without any fucking weapons, just his words, just his height. You know, here is this man that's like 6'10", 6'11". You know his voice when you hear it because he's got this fucking baritone signature of a voice when he fucking speaks. And when he speaks, just the littlest thing, it's almost like with great authority and everything. So you can't help but stop and listen to what this guy is saying. But he confronted Rayful Edmond. Edmond was a big fan of basketball. Particularly, he was a big fan of the Georgetown Hoyas. And at a lot of the games when Thompson was coaching, he was always at courtside. He was always at courtside with his entourage. And at that point, it was at the Capitol Center. Yeah, it was known as the Capitol Center here in DC for the indoor games that the Hoyas would have and everything. And at the height of Edmond's career, he had became very friendly with a lot of the Hoyas players. And when Thompson got word what was going on, he sent word to Edmond's people, hey, I want to meet with Edmond. And when Edmond arrived, you know, he started off very cordial and everything, saying, hey, look, I need you to cease all contact with my players. You know, these men, you know, these boys that are starting to become men, you know, they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. And for a lot of these men, they're very gifted. They've got basketball. This can take them away from the ghetto. This can, you know, help them help their families, have their families be set for life. They will be set for life. I don't want you associated with them in any type of way. You need to stop communicating with them. And, you know, Edmond, he was, you know, going back and forth with him and everything and trying to tell him it, you know, wasn't like that at all and all this other shit. And it got pretty fucking heated. And Thompson came right at him and said, look, you don't stay away from my players, there's going to be some serious consequences. I'm telling you that right now. And, you know, you would think, whoa, he's saying that to this drug lord? This drug lord could have him dead just like that. I mean, it got real heated. Thompson, like to date, like period, Thompson, described by many, the only man that was able to stand toe to toe with this drug lord, put him in his place, and no course of action. You know, because I mean, on the streets, when you're talking about gang violence and all that other shit, especially out here in DC, you know, you want to pull somebody's manhood. Oh, yeah, fool, that's a quick way to get your ass a beat down or worse. But as far as retaliation from Rayful Edmond goes, none came. So whatever Thompson said to him, you know, he took it to heart and he stayed away. He fucking stayed away. But yeah, I'm like, it puts a smile on my face when I think about it. That's why sometimes whenever I see the Charles S. Dutton show, Rock, I'm not sure how many of you all remember that TV series. It was from back in the 90s. Great fucking show. I think it ran about 4 seasons, maybe 5. I remember there was a drug dealer. I can't think of his name right now, sadly. Kind of looked like Eddie Murphy. Y'all know exactly the guy I'm talking about. He was in Friday as well. But he played a drug lord on Rock. And I remember Charles S. Dutton's character would always butt heads with him and everything. And I won't spoil what happened with that character, but you know, he finally does get his and everything. You know, a lot of what you heard from the John Thompson story and everything, you kind of always, at least when I watch Rock, you know, whenever I see the interactions with him and that drug dealer, I just always think about Thompson going toe to toe with fucking Rayful Edmonds. So, I mean, how badass is that? You know, here's a guy that cared that much about his players, didn't want to see them go down the wrong path, and went above and beyond. You know, anybody else would have been so intimidated, they dare not would have tried to say anything to Rayful Edmonds. But Thompson fucking, I don't give a fuck who this guy is. He's gonna know today, you don't mess with my players. I don't need them being associated with you in any shape or form. So, great fucking coach, man. Great fucking coach. Just 2020, man. Really, really rough. Real rough. You know, we talked about the passing as soon as it had went down over the weekend of Chadwick Boseman. And that was great what ABC Disney did, showing Black Panther uninterrupted, and then having a special little, I think it was a 1-hour tribute that they did for him afterwards on ABC. That was pretty awesome, what they did. But, you know, it's just, my girl had pointed this out to me. Y'all had probably saw it on the social media feeds, but it was just so disgusting to see that the man didn't even hit the ground yet. Wasn't even put in the ground, and you already had people that were running around trying to make a profit off of his death, offering what would be normally a $10 mask for $50, $60, $70, $100. And I mean, the vultures, you know, no matter how many times I hear, Lee, this is normal, this is expected, you know, it happens all the time, you know this, it still doesn't make it right, people. It still doesn't make it right. And I still have every right to cringe when I just see, you know, little shit like that. Just breaks my heart. Breaks my heart on so many levels to see that people, you know, I mean, it's one thing if, look, you are always selling what you are selling at reasonable prices. You were always doing it that way. I mean, that's one thing. But, oh man, this person died. Hey, I can crank this up 2, 3, 4, 5 times the value. And you're going, like, oh, come on, man, have a heart. Like, seriously. I mean, be one thing if you're, hey, I'm selling this, but half of this money is going to go to this charity, you know. You know, one thing I will say that I did not touch upon over the weekend in regards to this passing. One thing that I will touch upon. You just don't know what pain, suffering, everyday struggles that someone is possibly going through. You don't know what internal battles a person is having. You know, and I say that because, yeah, you know, somebody might be smiling on the outside and all that, but you just never know. And it sickens me and makes me quite upset to hear that there were actually people that were making fun of Chadwick. And one of the last times that he was seen publicly, he did something on Instagram. There was something that he was trying to promote, and people, it wasn't a movie or anything like that. It had something to do with something he had taken up. Maybe it was tied to a foundation he was part of or something. It escapes me right now. But yet so many people that were making fun of him. Other people were wondering if he was okay. I told you guys, I remember seeing him on Inside, the NBA on TNT, paying tribute to Kobe, doing the pictures and all that, iconic picture poses and all that. And I thought he looked pretty small, but I ain't making that much of it. I just said, you know, maybe that's how he's always looked, or maybe he's preparing for a role. Whatever, you know, hey, all right, Chadwick. You know, but to hear that, you know, all along he was battling this and doing it with such grace, with such dignity, with such pride. There is a small part of me that wonders, why didn't he take this battle publicly to try to bring attention, especially amongst the black community, particularly black men, because the statistic data is out there, and it shows that black men are more likely to get colon cancer, prostate cancer, and all that. If there was ever an opportunity to, not only be the face for something, but to really get the proactivity out there and encouraging members of the black community to get checked up and all of that. There is that part of me that wonders why he didn't, maybe his family can shed a little bit of light on that, at a much later date, obviously, but that's why it's always good to shut the fuck up. When you don't know what's going on with somebody, as I always tell you, it's like we're in this day and age where, because we have the social media and all that, we're under the impression that, it gives us a right to be intrusive. And no, it does not give us a right to be intrusive. We really need to mind our P's and Q's and just, keep to ourselves. And, for all the people that were saying the nasty things that they were saying about him when they were looking at him physically that last time and everything, I'm sure they probably feel like straight up shit right now. And they should. But, it just goes to show you, man, like, never assume and never take for granted that because somebody is smiling on the outside, never take for granted, oh man, they're living the perfect life. They got this going on, they got that going on, they got everything in the world. They're fucking, you just never know. You just never know. Crazy, ain't it? It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say this show's in the books. Shout out to our sponsors, great sponsors that we been able to work with for these past couple of weeks. Shout out to blackstrade.sharetribe.com. Again, blackstrade.sharetribe.com. Their mission is to unite buyers and sellers that represent the African American community, but everybody is more than welcome to join, as they encourage inclusion and welcome all ethnicities to join them in trade as they rebuild communities worldwide. They are a marketplace platform that provides an international meeting space for people to advertise and market their businesses while buying, selling, trading, wholesaling, or just providing services to members. So check them out. Also want to give a shout out to my man Contel Bradford. I haven't collaborated with him in a good minute. He's got a new ebook that's out, and it's titled Thug Nation. Again, a new novel by Contel Bradford, fresh out of the pen. A decorated street veteran hits the block full of hope and uncertainty. Gerald knows he has to blaze a better trail for his daughter, but he has one particular set of skills, and it pays more than any felony-friendly 9-to-5 can bring to the table. Adrenaline pumps and blood flows as a young man from the inner city wrestles the most fierce of all demons, himself. Pick up the new ebook by Contel Bradford. It's called Thug Nation. It's on Amazon, Smashwords, and wherever else ebooks are sold. Check that out. Good partners. Happy to have them on board, and shout out to the rest of the sponsors that we continue to work with and we'll be working with for the next couple of weeks. Appreciate them. So we got one show in the books. I'm going to be coming at you right after NXT TakeOver goes off the air. I will be live with you guys again this Tuesday night. So that should be fantastic. We're going to be getting a new NXT World Champion. I'm looking forward to that one, that Fatal 4-Way. Tommaso Ciampa taking on Adam Cole, taking on Johnny Gargano, taking on Finn Balor. Fatal 4-Way, crown a new NXT champion. That's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to that one. And again, that will be live Tuesday night. We'll be all over the place, so tune in for that one. We'll sprinkle in a couple of more wrestling little headlines while we're at it. And then from there, the next show that we'll do after that, it will be a I think it's going to be a Thursday. Or I think it's either a Thursday RCWR show. Let me look at my calendar real quick. Hang on a second here. Give me a second here, and I can tell you when the next show is going to be. It looks like from there, the next show that we're going to do, I think it's safe to say the next show we're going to do is Thursday night. It's either going to be Thursday night or Friday night. We're going to be doing the show for you guys. I think at this point, I'm more inclined to say Friday night I'll be live with you guys. I think that makes a lot more sense because I can finally, on a rare occasion, talk about SmackDown and all that. So tune in for that. So after this Tuesday for NXT coverage, we'll come back Friday night, September the 4th. Is that right? Yeah, September the 4th. I don't know what's going to be happening with AEW All Out just yet. We'll know as we get a little bit closer as far as if I'm going to be in a good position where I'll be covering that pay-per-view or not for you guys. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR Show. And hey, one more time, if you enjoyed the show, please, hit the likes. Helps out tremendously. Helps more people be able to discover the content. I definitely want to help expand, broaden the audience out even more and everything. You're going to be waiting for the audio version of this. Give me about an hour and I'll have this ready to go for you guys. All right. And until next go round, wishing all y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Be well, my friends. Take care.